What's up guys, I'm Robin and I make stuff, and today we're gonna paint a blue heron. My students, they all wanna paint birds. I'm not really sure what that's all about. This blue heron I have chosen by a photographer on unsplash.com. If you have never been to unsplash.com, I will put a link in the description. Make sure you go there. It's a great resource if you're looking for inspiration of things to paint, where I find a lot of my materials. Found this picture that I thought would be a great reference photo for a beginning class. Here's why I chose it. We've got big shapes of color. If we're not looking at every single little detail, every little feather, then we're looking at shapes. This beak is a shape, and this eyeball is a shape. This gray patch in here on top of the head is a shape. It's got a very simple background that allows us to kind of do whatever we want with that. We can do kind of a nice flowy wash, we can do some splatters, we can do whatever we want, because that's what an artist is all about. Do whatever you want. As usual, we're gonna focus on the lightest areas first, build all the way into our darkest colors. We can add a little bit of texture if we want to show that there's some feathers. I have not practiced this. This is my practice round. You're gonna go on this journey with me. If you love this video, feel like it was worth watching all the way to the end, or you just liking my videos, great. Like this one too. And if you haven't done so yet, make sure you subscribe to my channel. The content's pretty cool to watch, just saying. Let's stop talking about birds and let's start painting. I've got my Hahnemühle pad. I want something that doesn't have a lot of commitment in order to practice this heron. It's fun kind of keeping all of these things together in one place. And I just secure the end with some butterfly clips, tape this end, and then also secure it as well. Draw this heron onto my paper. We want to focus on the composition and making sure there's enough spacing from the edge here, and where his head is from there, and this gap right here. Where does his chest sit? It looks like it's almost literally in the middle of the picture. The edge of where his head starts on his beak, also kind of in line with that. So I can use these little visual markers to get my composition laid out as closely as possible. Also thinking about the shapes. This is a big kind of roundish shape, and then we have another kind of like potato shape here, and then we've got this long pointy sword-like shape. Here is the actual layout of this photograph. It was a little bit cropped, but I do want to make sure I have a little bit more information to show, like, this is a heron. They're big birds, and they kind of have this long crazy neck that goes down in this like arched wing back thing. Something like that. And then on top of that, we have this other shape, kind of like a little potato sitting on top of a big potato, sword-like beak shape. That's about as crazy as you need to get. However, I do want to put in a few other details where this eye is going to sit, you know, and this beak kind of comes back in here like this, and then we've got this color shape. We've got this eyeball somewhere in there like that. His neck kind of comes down here. His head sits in this curvature thing, and he's got all these feathers down there. His wing, there's a block of dark gray in here, and then there's all these feathers. And he's got a couple of things that come off of his back like that. I just want to kind of gently erase this so I have a little bit of a guide. Kind of know exactly what I'm doing. Don't need all these pencil marks to stay. I do find that when I paint over my pencil mark, they don't go away. I'm going to start with my background first, and I'm going to paint that around him and really kind of set in where his shape is. I really want to define the shape of him using that blue. Oh, that's a lot of blue. I'm also going to add some brown. That's not brown. I don't know what that is. That was not the color I thought it was going to be. Hashtag clean off your palette, Robin. Okay, got some brown over here. Perfect. That basically looks amazing. I'm going to outline around his head, his beak. Maybe I'll add some water to that and kind of just see what happens. So I get this nice crisp line here. I don't want this to be as dark as those little wisps he's got going back there. It's not going to be. You can see this is really defining the shape of his head, and that's going to allow me to keep that white. And I'm doing this very loosely here because I want there to be some kind of fun, playful movement in this. You could have gone the other way, right? And add water first and then put your paint into it, which we'll do for the underneath side. But I'm doing this so you can see, like, there's so much you can do. You can just have fun with it, not take it too seriously. Getting more on the board than I am on the paper. Let's just see what happens if I put water first. And I'm using that water to define my lines. Grabbing some of that blue that I had mixed up, and we're just gonna dab it. Oh yeah, check that out. And I'm just dabbing versus painting. Okay, that looks pretty cool. That's also nice because it might give me a little bit of a rough texture, and he's got all these like feathers and stuff in there. Maybe I'll just splatter a little bit more in here. Too much, too much. Bro, where's my paper towels? Someone bring me a paper towel. I don't have an assistant, so not a big deal. Oh my gosh, I had red on my hand. This is turning into a disaster faster than a masterpiece. Everything's fine, everything's fine. I like what's going on right around here. Let it dry fully, because if you don't let it dry, then when we come back in here to do some of these other colors or whatever, and you touch the paint to that, that water's just gonna suck it up, and you're gonna have that paint color go into there, which you don't want. Dry it. Just like that, it's pretty dry. If we're working light to dark, got this blue in here, which turned out pretty cool, kind of interesting. It dried a lot lighter than we thought it was going to. I bet a lot lighter than you thought it was going to. We're just gonna leave that white and we're gonna paint around that. The next lightest is probably this color in here. I could honestly probably paint the entire bird that color. Something here. I mean, that looks pretty good. Let's just try it. Very quick, very loose. And then we'll kind of pull some down around in this area, and then we'll do something a little bit darker for in here. Or maybe I'll grab a little bit of that color, which I think was burnt umber. See how it blends itself up into that just a little bit? That's fantastic. And kind of coming around here like this, there's definitely some white right there. Just making some kind of bigger strokes. These are much lighter in here, so maybe we'll just come and do some strokes like that with the very tip of our brush. I can use the white of the paper to my advantage here. This brush comes to a really nice point. That's what I love about this long round. This is a 14 long round. Tip my paper while it's still a little bit wet and have it blend itself down into there instead of going all the way up. This is kind of nice what's happening down in there. So I'm just focusing on the values that I see. So this shadow, those are going to be at the end. This shadow, we want to go to now maybe this gray. Don't get so focused on, well, I painted this and the next section is this one. Well, yeah, maybe it's like right next to it, but we don't want to do that right now. That's too dark. Now, while that's drying, we want to skip over, find somewhere else we can possibly paint. Maybe we could do this beak area. Let's turn it black and white. So now you can really see the values. A little bit of blues, and then we'll do some browns and some yellows and trying to stay light. So we want kind of a gray blue. We'll come right in underneath his eye right there. Should be even lighter than our background. I'm gonna get some more water in here, dry it off, and pull some of that just a little ways. Kind of go in here under his eye. Under his eye! It's a little bit dark. Right in here. And let that kind of do what it's gonna do. Come in now with my yellow for the beak, just because I know it's dry. Maybe something like that. Let's try that. Remember, it's gonna dry lighter. And outside the lines, I'm gonna go all the way back up into here. It's okay. I'm okay if this touches because it's such a light color. It's not really gonna mess me up. But I do not want that right there. I have some stuff in there. I left a little bit of white in there just because I can. We're gonna let that dry. This is almost dry right here. We're gonna come back in now with our gray, and I'm gonna put that gray everywhere in there and just do a nice light gray kind of wash. Maybe some blue. That looks like gray to me. Oh yeah, that's good. Good enough. All the way down the back, because it's very dark back there. This is our underneath. Whatever the lightest color is, that's what's going to show underneath at this point. And it's still a little wet. We don't care that much. Just keep telling yourself that. I really do sometimes care. I just have to tell myself that I don't care so that I can remind myself that we're just painting. It's not that big of a deal. We got a few little gray spots up in here. We're going to let this dry and start to build those darks. All of this color here is going to be this color. And then even this lighter color here, those lights that you're seeing, we can now have those be the lightest part and then paint darker around them. That's why I go with the lightest. And if you're looking at my painting, you might be saying to yourself, this is looking terrible. Yes, I know when you're doing watercolor, it is not going to look finished or perfect when you're halfway through. What you have to do, and this is the key, go all the way to the end and put those very dark darks into your painting. And I'm talking really dark. Once you do that, that's where it all comes together, and then you're like, oh, I love it. But right now, I don't love this. I don't love this at all. This is terrible. Keep moving forward. Don't give up. Next color, maybe like this blue in here. It's pretty dark blue. This looks darker to me than the background. We just need to make this look a little bit darker than this background. This is where it starts to become something. So let's focus on this, coming down like that. I'm just kind of leaving some areas white, putting this color in here, and we'll continue to define that. I'm gonna wash my brush out just a tiny bit. While that paint is wet, I can pick it up with my brush and kind of move it around, and it will be even lighter than what is put down there. Just starting to define some of these little tiny feather details. That's not as dark as we're gonna go, so just keep that in perspective. Putting some layers in there. So I can make this kind of curved shape, leaving a little bit of space between one feather and another, overlapping some of them, leaving a little bit of a gap. And that's why we came in and put that lighter color down, so that we could leave that little space in there. This little gap in between each feather is really important. Let's do the top of his head. We want to put our darkest paint here, do those little wisps, and maybe a little bit down the back side here. And then we'll lighten it up as we come forward here towards his eye, also bringing some of that darkness in around this area as well. Thinking, Robin, we haven't done the other lighter parts. Yes, I know, but we can finish this piece right now. Blue and brown. We'll make gray or black. I just want to make sure I have enough. Let's try it. I'm gonna do his little wispy thing. Okay, another one. Leaving that white area on the top, very important, and a little bit back here. Clean my brush, dry it off just a little bit. And let's kind of start to pull this paint, clean it off a little bit more, because it's picking up that paint and pulling it. And I want to make sure that we have enough gradient, and that still might not even be as dark as it needs to go, but we can come back in with a script liner brush at the very end and just add some more to that. Just kind of moving some of that around. I have a lot of students that will get to this point and feel like, I don't know what to do. If you don't know what to do and you're feeling like, it's because everything's the same value. Let's turn this black and white, be able to see that basically everything except for what we just put in there is probably really close to the same value, the same lightness or darkness. When you turn it black and white, you can't really see what's going on other than the fact that this thing's going on. We really need to punch those values, those dark values. Let's put some darks over in this on his shoulder, and we can start to kind of build some stuff in here, maybe build around in there, put some darks down in here, put a few little things there, put some dark wisps going backwards down here, and that should start to kind of pull it together. I'm gonna use this number 6 round brush, ultramarine blue. Here's some burnt umber, nice consistency. We're maybe just gonna work our way backwards. I'm doing backwards because I want the tapered end to go that way instead of this way. Doesn't work as well for me that way. And we might need to do this a couple times. It doesn't hold all the paint that I need it to. And we want to come up into here. Leave the suggestion of some of those highlights. Dark layer down in here. This area is dark, this shoulder area. It's really kind of jaggedy around that edge where the bigger feathers take over. Doing some little wisps. We're gonna go up into this area I had already mixed. Just doing a few little suggestions. And then down here also, just using the brush that's clean and dried off just a little bit to kind of spread that out, move it down, give it a little bit of texture. Yeah, we can do the same thing in here while it's still wet, moving just a little bit of that paint, dabbing it off, just so it doesn't feel so smooth. When you clean your brush off and come back with it dry, it's picking up that paint. I can pick that paint up a little bit and either move it somewhere else or just pick it up completely. It's kind of up to you what you want to do with it. I'm just going to come in with some blue shadows. Blue is always a great idea if you're trying to convey shadows. I'm going to come back in here, and that's got a dark piece like that. This is dark right in here. Now that this is dry, we can come back in there, mix some more of that really dark color. Okay? And we want a lot of it. If you're mixing up your color and it's like this, that's not enough. That's just too much water. We want it to look thick like that. I'm just kind of dabbing just to give the idea that there are some feathers or texture in there. Come back over this and over this one. And now this is kind of dry. We can come back over that with a little more dark texture. And we're just kind of layering and layering and layering. It's like tissue paper. You put layers of tissue paper over one another and it's going to get darker. So that's what we're doing. Over here, very dark on the bottom right there. That's important. We will come in, put a really nice golden color in there. And then we can also use that same color to put a little bit more detail and color on his beak. Maybe a little bit over in here. Didn't keep my white so well right there. Let that eyeball dry and then we'll come back and put the really darks in there. Now the bottom of the eye is a little bit lighter. So what I can do is kind of lift some of that out. My brush is clean when I go in, clean and pretty dry. And then I just kind of work that paint and it lifts it out. That'll give it a nice little highlight. And I'm just paying attention to the lines and the shapes that I see. There's a shadow over the eyeball. There's the pupil right in the middle, which should be very dark. This shadow piece kind of over the top. This needs to have a little bit more definition just to separate out that white on this edge here. Paying attention to small details. There's this line there. There's another line like underneath here to just keep building those darks. I'll show you a trick at the end we can do with the eye. Get some more blue. And we're going to do some blue right here, blue in here, more blues right there, and some blues right in there. A little bit more underneath here because I feel like it's just getting lost. Putting a few little blue strokes in here just because I wanted to feel like there's a couple of other lighter pieces in there, and I have another trick for that as well. Do not overwork it. I'm waiting till stuff dries and then kind of going back in. That's one way to really help not overwork it so much. If you keep going in while it's wet, you will have a tendency to just kind of muddy it up. My final piece of this that I want to show you is a little trick that I have. If you come in at the very end with a jelly roll pen, you can put some nice opaque-ish whites in there, which is great for like a dot on an eye or a few extra feathers. So there's a dot right in here. So there's that. Some feathers up in here if I wanted to add some white in there, I totally could. Feathers in there that I wanted to put in, making those all work together. One thing I want to do is come back in with this blue-gray color that we used on the background. Right here can really use some of that, and up here can use it to just make that pop a little bit more. It dried so light, and I can come back in and kind of go this way with my darks and let those be some feathers kind of flowing out. And we'll kind of soften that up a little bit. Now that really helped make that pop. The back of this guy also needs to be much darker. So I'm going to come back in and just really kind of punch that. Really popping these darks in there will help to set it apart and start to make it stand out. And we'll take the tape off. Boom, there you have it. There's our blue heron. Always looks better from far away. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you next time that I make stuff.